Hey guys, and welcome to this quick tutorial. In this video I will show you how you can control your mount and telescope via Stellarium. First of all, you need to install EQMOD. There is a link to that in the description. You will also need to have Ascom installed on your computer. There's also a link to that in the description. After you've installed it, we can open Stellarium and open the configuration window. This is right here. And go to plugin, and we now go to telescope control, and you have to check load at startup. If you haven't already done this, you will now need to restart Stellarium, and once you've done that, you will find a new button down here, this one, and it opens this window. We will use this window to slew our telescope, but right now it says there are no active devices and we need to hit configure telescopes. Okay, so now to telescopes, and as we can see there is no telescope connected yet, and we have to click this plus button down here to get to this window. It now asks us what the telescope will be controlled by, and here we select Ascom. We can name our telescope. I will name my telescope Skywatcher 200 PDS, as that's the one I've got. I would just leave the connection delay at default. This has worked for me fine so far. Also the coordinate system, I also leave that at default. And if you want to, you can check this box, and then it will start and connect to this telescope once you open Stellarium, but I don't check this box. And now we come to the important settings, the Ascom settings. So if we click that, we will have to choose which telescope we want to use. And I myself have an HEQ5, so I will click on this. And now we have to go to Properties, and it opens this window, which is from EQMOD. And it's now important that your mount is connected to your laptop or computer via USB. And we now see here this port, and if you click this button Find, it now says Found, so it found the telescope on port 3 for me. And this is individual on every laptop, so you'll have to find the port that works for you. Now you can already enter your coordinates here, but I would just suggest you do this later, and we can now hit OK here, and again OK here. So right here I would suggest you say use Stellarium settings, so you can always change things in Stellarium. And we will leave that as it is right now and hit OK. So now we have this telescope right here, and we can hit connect. Now before you hit connect here, it's very important to remember that your telescope should be pointed towards Polaris, because Stellarium will assume it is. And if we close this window and look up roughly to where Polaris is, we can see this orange circle indicating where our telescope is pointing. So as you can see, it is pointing towards Polaris, and it's just important to get that right from the beginning. So now our telescope is basically already connected, and if we now just go to nighttime real quick, I can select any star, and if we now go to this window right here, so you click on a star, say current object, and it will take these coordinates here, and then you can hit slew, and you will now see how this circle moves to the star. So you can basically already slew to any object in the night sky you want. You can also enter specific coordinates here, or just hit center of the screen, and then always remember to hit slew and it'll go there. Alright, so I will now go over to this EQMOD interface that opens automatically when you connect your mount. And right here we have a lot of information, and I will go over that now. So first of all, we have the current mount position right here, Now I usually don't look at this information because it's much simpler to just look at Stellarium, and you can also see where the telescope is pointed at in Stellarium. And below that we have the slew controls, and with this we can control the telescope in all 2 axles. And right next to that we have the rate at which we will slew. So we have certain presets here. So preset 4 is the fastest one, and if I now hit east, you can see how the orange circle moves in the background. And I could also hit north, and it'll now move in the other direction. And with these presets you can adjust the rate, and you can also manually adjust it with these sliders here. Now below that we have this spiral option, and to better show you what this does, I will go back to Stellarium, and I will go to the star, for example, and once again hit current object and slew. And if we now zoom in on that star, we will shortly see our orange circle approach. I will open this window again, and we can now watch what happens if I press the spiral button. So as you can see, it goes around the current position where we were at in a kind of a spiral movement, and it gets bigger every time it goes around. Now, assuming you are rather close to the object you're looking for, this is useful if you don't quite see it in your finder scope yet, and with this you kind of get around the star and you might find it then. I mostly don't use this feature, but it might just come in handy for you. Now back to the EQMOD window, and below the slew controls we have the track rate, which is currently set to sidereal. So this is used for when you're viewing stars or planets or deep sky objects. And then we also have lunar and solar. These are obviously for the moon and the sun if you're viewing these. You can also hit stop and the telescope will stop tracking. Now in this next column you will have to enter your coordinates and also the height, and with this information the program will calculate at which hour or which minute you will have to set Polaris in your pole finder to get a good polar alignment. However, it is much more accurate if you follow my drift alignment tutorial, which is linked in the top right corner. Now we get to a very important point, which is alignment / synchronization. This is very important because our telescope and Stellarium don't match up perfectly. So even if Stellarium says we are currently viewing this star, it might not be perfectly in the center for our actual telescope, and this is where this alignment comes in. It currently says point count is 0, and we will change that by going back to Stellarium, and once again I will say that the telescope should slew to this star. So imagine you're looking through your finder scope and you can already see this star, and you now want to perfectly center it in your telescope. And as it's currently not dark outside, I'm just going to simulate this, I would say. So I will just slew it slightly away from the star, and maybe also a little bit in the other axle. Alright, so let's say that now I've properly aligned it in the telescope, and I want to tell Stellarium that I'm currently directly looking at this star. I then hit, once again, current object and sync. And we can now see that the orange circle now moved to this star. So it now got the information that it's currently looking at this star directly. If we go back to EQMOD, we can also see point count is 1. Now this is okay for the start, but we will definitely have to get more points for a proper alignment. So I'm just going to do that now. And just as a side note, if you want a pretty good alignment over the whole night sky, you want to look for stars that are very far apart. So right now we got this one, and I will go very far away and maybe just take this star over here and sync to that. Okay, so the telescope is now again pointing at this star, and I will once more simulate that it might just be a little off, so I will go in this direction and maybe down a little. Okay, so just imagine it's now perfectly centered when you look through your telescope, and you hit sync again. Okay, so I've also gone ahead and done that for a third star, and we now see alignment points is 3, and this will already give you a very decent alignment over the whole sky. And I would suggest, if you are looking for a particular object, for example a faint galaxy, you will want to search for closer and closer stars to that object and always sync these points. And these stars can also get dimmer because you know that the alignment is pretty much on point, so you won't have to look very far for the star. And this way you can get closer and closer to the object. The alignment will get better and better, and you'll be sure to find it. So now it's also very important that in this drop-down menu you select 3-point plus nearest point. This is a lot more accurate than nearest point, and it will lead to better results in your alignment. Now further down we have the park settings. Now these are only important if you have a fixed location for your telescope, and as I don't have that, I can't give you more information on this. However, in the near future I might try if this also has benefits even when you're setting up your telescope each night. For this next one, the guiding settings, I once again don't have any experience because I don't have an autoguide camera. And below that there are the mount limits. These might come in useful if you have restrictions where the telescope shouldn't move so that it doesn't hit anything that is nearby. But I also don't have that because I set up my telescope somewhere where there's nothing around it. Next up are the sound settings, so you can enable certain sounds if you do certain inputs. I don't use any of that, but maybe you want to, just as a information that that is there. And now we get to a very important point, because you can control your telescope via a controller, and you don't have to use these slew controls all the time. So to do this, you click on this configure button right here, and you have your gamepad configuration. Now right here you can see my configuration, and it works pretty well for me, and it's also quite intuitive to use, I think. However, you can configure this in whatever way you like or you think works best. Now I personally don't use the joystick to slew the mount because I found that it is quite error prone, but maybe that's also just my controller. Now just as information, I myself use an Xbox controller that I bought from eBay, so you don't need anything fancy. I just bought an old one and it works pretty good. Alright, so there we have it. You can now control your mount either by using this interface or a controller, and I personally find the controller especially useful when looking through the finder scope and being able to control the mount simultaneously. I hope I could help you with this tutorial. If there are any questions left, feel free to ask in the comments and I will try to help you out. Thank you so much for watching. Clear skies.